Chronic yeast infections are hard for people to deal with, and getting rid of them may seem impossible at times. The following article has some great ideas to help you cure your yeast infection and prevent further infections from occurring. So, why don't you incorporate some of the tips featured below into your life and see if you can get rid of your chronic yeast infections forever? If your period is a precursor to a yeast infection, it is important to address the issue head-on. Before your period, take an acidophilus tablet. Also take one after your period. This will reduce or even eliminate the symptoms. When you work hard to avoid such an infection, you'll reap the rewards. Eat yogurt daily to avoid getting a yeast infection. It includes acidophilus, which helps to keep your vagina's flora in balance. But always remember that a yeast infection that already exists will not be remedied by eating a cup of yogurt. Wear breathable underwear, such as cotton, to minimize the chance of developing new yeast infections. Synthetic materials will encourage moisture and yeast growth. Be sure it's 100% cotton and change your undies after exercise or anytime you sweat. This keeps you dry and healthy. Avoid wearing tight clothing to allow your skin to breathe. Skinny jeans may look cute, but they will worsen your symptoms. If the area doesn't get enough air, then your chances of getting a yeast infection skyrocket. Wear comfortable pants with a lot of space to prevent yeast infections. Be careful of scrapes or scratches. If you do, it may pose a high risk for developing a yeast infection. Things like tampons and sex can cause this type of injury. Be careful with both. If you face frequent yeast infections, abstain from rough sex or any other potentially damaging activity. Yeast infections can be transmitted to other people very easily. Do not have sex until a week after the yeast infection is gone. Don't kiss anyone if you are dealing with an oral yeast infection. Although yeast infections most often occur in the vagina, they can also occur in your mouth. If you develop an infection, go to your doctor right away. There are many home remedies that you can try, which include rinsing with salt water and drinking cold fluids. Keep your genitals dry, as a wet environment is an optimal place for a yeast infection. When you are sitting in a wet bathing suit, you are giving yeast a perfect area to grow. To keep yeast at bay, always remove your bathing suit when you are finished swimming and put on dry clothes. There are some natural cures for yeast infections. Golden seal, rosemary and cedar are some popular options. You can make a concoction of these, and either take them as a douche, or soak pads in them to soothe irritating symptoms, such as burning and itching. If you suffer from yeast infections often, identify the contributing causes. The cause can be hard to find, so many issues should be evaluated. Yeast infections can be caused by wearing the wrong fabrics, diet or birth control pills. After you bathe or swim, dry off thoroughly in order to avoid yeast infections. Yeast infections love dampness and moisture, so incomplete drying can cause a risk. If you get a yeast infection and you have a sex partner, he or she may also need treatment. Yeast infections are passable from person to person, and both partners should be treated. Get medications for both of you after talking to your doctor. Drinking plenty of water helps prevent yeast infections. This is a very important step in getting rid of toxins from your body. It's also been proven to get rid of sugar. That sugar can actually contribute to increasing the severity of a yeast infection. Drink lots of water if you have a yeast infection. This might help you recover. Many people go out without underwear, and that is a personal preference. But keep in mind that doing this makes you more prone to a yeast infection. Wear cotton underwear. Cotton keeps the genital area drier and cooler. If you plan on going down there, try using a powder or deodorant spray. In conclusion, living with a yeast infection can be hard. Hopefully, however, after reading through some of the top tips presented above, you now feel ready to tackle your chronic yeast infections head-on with renewed enthusiasm. From now on, yeast is no match for you. Yeast infection affecting your life? Please check out the link in description to find out the most effective treatment for yeast infection.